Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, start talking that, stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it.
Tell them boys to give me 150M. I'm coming, you know what I mean when I start streaming out that, start talking that. Stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Devin Davis and Terence Crawford have gotten as far as throwing physical punches from throwing verbal jabs on social media. Once Tank committed the atrocity of raining insults on Terence Crawford and his family. Crawford promised to break his neck if we was to fight right now. On the street I'll break your neck, and that's on my kids and you. Know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. Maybe not his neck this time, but you can be sure that Tank Davis would not escape the physical consequences of his crimes. Well, Tank did have a response for this. Perhaps many have forgotten that when it comes to a street fight, Terence Crawford is more than capable, having been a wrestler for the early parts of his life. I know fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break. Devin Davis's final response to the chaos that happened between him and Crawford was seen in a now-deleted post on X, where he demanded that Crawford return to the welterweight division so he'd move up and beat the hell out of the former undisputed world champion in the said division. Well, let's see. For a few days now, Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford have been feuding since X. It seems that Tank was a little upset about not being invited to the Ring Magazine Gala. Gervonta Tank Davis and Terence Bud Crawford got into an all-out verbal brawl on social media as the boxing champions traded jabs regarding their respective bank accounts and music. Resumes. The drama between Davis and Crawford began when Crawford seemingly reacted to Davis expressing his EY over not receiving an invitation to the Ring Awards, an event celebrating the best moments in boxing over the past year. On social media, the fighter took the opportunity to badmouth several of the attendees. His publications ended up eliminating them in a matter of minutes. But we already know that the internet does not forget, and there will always be more than one who took screenshots. Bud Crawford didn't stay quiet. He found the perfect scenario to make the Baltimore native angry. I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine Gala, and posted on his X account. It was enough to make Devin lose his mind. While Crawford noted that he wasn't invited to the Ring Awards himself, Davis clearly took offense to the former undisputed champ's humor, claiming that he brings in more money than Crawford does. The argument between the two boxers turned into a war over who had more money. They definitely hated each other and started to raise the tension with their comments. And I still make more than you, Devin said to Bud, to which Crawford pointed out that his legacy was all about money and not making a difference at the highest level of boxing. And we should remember that they already had a grudge against each other when Davis sided with his friend Errol Spence Jr. against Tehran during their rivalry before their fight in 2023. Music. The fight at X was starting to die down, but Devon decided to follow up with a post that showed a clear low blow by picking on someone who had no business being on the topic. And he got like 8 kids and his wife like 380 pounds. Yeah, buddy got to work overtime, was Tank's nasty tweet that he ended up deleting only a few minutes later. Teach Internet did its thing and retrieved it, and to no one's surprise, the boxer was criticized for bringing in the family. Gervonta is insecure he's fighting Lamont Roach, while Terence Crawford is getting a neo fight. Tank know deep down he needs to fight big dogs, but all the smoke is with Terence Crawford fighting top dogs and getting to that music cheese. Yeah, he crossed a major line with that tweet. Tank deletes all his defamatory tweets. He throws shots, then hides his hands. A 30-year-old man acting like this is pathetic. They were part of the criticism of the Baltimore fighter on X. The truth is that Devin is preparing for his fight with Lamont Roach Jr., and Crawford could finally get his long-awaited fight with Canelo. We'll see if the negotiations with Turkey are on music track. Davis also challenged pundits and fans' belief that Crawford is attempting to make history by challenging multi-division champ Canelo Alvarez to about a fight expected to yield Bud the biggest payday of his career. You all think he's chasing greatness. He's not. That's what he has to do to make decent money. Damn boys, the lightweight champion said of Crawford when talking about Gervonta Davis. One must mention the fact that he is a destructive puncher, who is said to be even more powerful than Terence Crawford. He has 30 fights in his career and has won all of them and has 28 knockouts. Gervonta Davis speaking about you do that is that ever a possible fight? Yeah, if he want to. It highlights how brutal Davis's punches are. According to World Boxing Organization welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr., who has sparred with both fighters, Norman's notions enable one to have a clear vision of the differences between these two high-ranked boxers. Frank Martin is the 23-year-old who lost to Devon Davis, who at the moment boasts of an unblemished record of 30-0 with 28 knockouts and recently retained his World Boxing Association lightweight title by stopping Martin the Champion, has repeatedly claimed that he can knock out any opponent with just a single punch, and that in the course of the ongoing campaign he has turned into one of the most formidable punchers in the heavyweight division. To be great he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes, and you know. Ding, to be great you will fight him till his eye strength is usually the wild card which puts him out of commission and knocks out matches with one blow. On the other hand, Terence Crawford, who has an astounding record of 410-31, has been dominating the welterweight division for the past 2 years. He has relocated to the junior middleweight category where he won a World Boxing Association belt by unanimously outpointing Israel Madoff. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, seems more planned and likes to gradually wear out his opponents before executing the final blow. For discussions involving these two fighters were also not limited to the gym, as social media was also awash with them come up there. He got to come to win 54. He said I got a glass chin, so tell him come touch it. Wow man. When Davis supported Errol Spence Jr. against Terence Crawford, calling the latter a glass chin, Crawford fired back at him saying move up to 147 to challenge my chin, but it never came into an extensive conflict. However, the next big fight for Davis will probably be against Shakur Stevenson, which should happen next year. In case Davis and Stevenson do meet, then it will be a different game. In this match his power will have to neutralize Stevenson's power, which is seen in his defense. Stevenson, who is quite awkward with his style, preferring to counter-punch, was slammed in his last fight against Artem Harit Union for laziness with the jab. This cautious approach could be problematic against a power puncher like him. You got a glass, he said. I got a glass chin, tell them come and touch it at 147. At 147 I'll make 147 though. Both fighters, Davis and Terence Crawford, are top-notch fighters with incredible knockout abilities and track records. They are different fighters. Using just one punch he can knock out any fighter, which makes him a very lethal and dangerous fighter, while Terence Crawford uses several punches and techniques to control his opponent for a whole round. Oh man, he going have a pre then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys, as both of them go on their boxing careers. The ring meeting between Davis and Stevenson could be the following matchup that draws boxing enthusiasts' attention. Nevertheless, it may not be the first time Terence Crawford took a dig at the Baltimore native shortly after he defeated Errol Spence Jr. and became an undisputed champion. The Nebraska southpaw heard about Von Davis claiming he could beat him. At 147 lb Failer gave a little prediction on the fight, talked about Errol has a metal shield and you have a glass shield. Talk about the punch resistance. What do you think of Tank's assessment? Man, speaking on the Breakfast Club, an unperturbed Crawford acknowledged Davis's prowess in the ring, nonetheless suggests that there are levels in boxing. He played the banter down, and if he comes up to 147 thinking he's just going to knock Terence Crawford out, he's got another thing coming. He stated perhaps a clash between the two American boxing icons may never happen for Terence Crawford, though there's only one fight ahead of him, the one against Canelo Alvarez. Gave a little prediction on the fight, talked about Errol has a metal shield and you have a glass shield. Talked about the punch resistance. What do you think of Tank's assessment? Man, Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis are currently 3 divisions apart but have competed in the same classes. In the past, Crawford kicked off his campaign at lightweight, where Tank Davis is currently a world champion. He became undisputed at super lightweight, where Tank Davis has also won a belt. Crawford has since continued to move up, clearing out the welterweight division before making his debut at 154 PBS last year. Davis remains back down at 135, holding the World Boxing Association world title and knocking out all comers. The big hitter from Baltimore has said he would knock Crawford out in the past, perhaps tongue in check, but the bigger man has warned him not to punch above his weight. I mean, you came up from 35, right? He ain't fighting no real guys at 47. Okay, what about everyone talk about whilst a fight is highly unlikely to ever take place, some believe it wouldn't be a foregone conclusion. In an interview with Real Life Productions multi-division world champ Roy J.